Hello everybody, welcome back. It's 8 o'clock on a Sunday, 10th of August. So, I hope you all had a good weekend. I spent my day up a hill, carrying many cameras. It was a good warm-up run, but it was only 1,000 meters. So it wasn't it was just a big hill really. But yeah, just trying out all the new cameras and stuff. Don't forget, if you're watching live or if you're watching later, there's a Discord join link in the description. And let's say hello to everybody. So Kirk Curtis, hello and welcome. Apollonia, welcome back. Furnicar, Battlecruiser operational, liked and subscribed. And Dragon Diffusion, Gordon is tired today, diabetes day. Sorry to hear that, buddy. I hope you pull through. We all know you will. So, workflows. I hope we're going to make it to image. I've already done it. The workflows are working. It's like releasing them. Keep on having more ideas. The thing that we talked about yesterday, the ENH, which I would call, what does it stand for? Enhancement, natural helper. But really it's just short for enhancer. But the thing is, we've made a whole bunch of LoRa aware enhancers now. And I've taken that to the next level with multi-shot. So anybody who's used an LLM is familiar with the idea that it can output a JSON structure. And with that comes the ability to customize what each of them will be. Now, if you remember yesterday, the workflow had an open router. Sorry, spoilers. It had an OLAMA, local LLM, that was being used with a system prompt, and we had variations on the system prompts. Turns out that's inefficient, and look, if you want to produce variety, that's the best way. But if you want it to be consistent, coherent, all of that stuff, do it all in one prompt. And then we're outputting the 4 generated prompts, and obviously it's vision enabled, so we're using Qwen VLM on OLAMA, and the pictures that you're seeing here are the result of the multi-shot. I call it the 4-shot. And so the difference is, now it doesn't always work, and the reason is actually the same. We've already known about this. The way the images are generated is there's a percentage of attention given to things on the screen. So when a character gets very small, there's very little attention placed on that much of the pixel space. And so as a result, and I didn't train any far away Thoras in this model, it doesn't have any. So that means that we get a really high detailed foreground, which is the background really, you know what I mean? And then she's in the distance, and that's a weakness of this. And it's more about my approach to this type of scene. But I've got ways of fixing that. So it's the same concept as before, but now we do it with one prompt. And so as a result, we get a lot more consistency. Sometimes the colors still do wander, like she's got black here and it's blue here. It seems to have shifted. Okay. But what it'll try to do is it'll try to make them all alternate shots of the same enhanced prompt. Okay. And the way I had to do that was by creating a new custom node pack called DJZ ENH. Alright. Let me just see here. Do you know what? Hang on a sec. Let me just get you some results to look at real quick. Where are they all? No, yes. Okay. Thora 3, Thora 4 shot. Okay, if you'll excuse me. And I'm back. Oh, had to go and blow my nose. Right. So as you can see, when she's quite small in the picture, she gets unstyled. And also I was experimenting with the enhancer, so it was adding things. There's a couple of different versions of the enhancer where I've made them more or less strict. In some of them it failed to use my tag properly. But the funny thing is, it used so many of the other words in the prompts that it didn't even matter. Obviously it made it better by actually using the trigger. But like I said, the alignment with the LoRa is so good, you'll get everything anyway. Yeah, see this same thing every time. You know what I mean? But the scene is amazing. So what I would do is I would just take her out. I would just in-paint her away. And then put a good one over the top. Not that one. But it's more than 50%. And then we'll get into how I actually did it. But the interesting thing is we've changed our approach. So we're not using a prompt enhancer for every prompt. We're generating 4 images at once, but we're doing it same seed, and then we get all 4 prompts. We can program what they're going to be. Now I've obviously done like establishing, action, portrait, close-up. Yeah. So establishing, wide shot, action, sneaking, close-up. You'll notice it's basically that every time. Yeah, sure, every now and then you get a miss. Oh my god, it heads backwards. That's freaky. Every now and then you get like a miscolored outfit or something. But remember, the LoRa I'm using here, it's high quality anime, but there was no focus on character outfit consistency when I did this. I've been retraining this model since before SDXL. Just over and over and over retraining the same model. And it gets better and better every time, because obviously the models get better and better every time. There's some R2D2. No way. So occasionally the prompt enhancer might go a bit nuts. But the nice thing about this is because it's all coming out of one prompt. You know what I mean? Because think about it. Every time you do a prompt, it's kind of like a new seed, isn't it? So this locks that down. Because it was a single vision prompt which did everything. It did all 4 prompts. And so in theory, and like I said, I still think it could be improved. If there are consistent outfits, you can make it use those phrases, and then obviously it will always be the same in every image. And then you can probably, you know, make up your own group of shots. I was just trying to get alternate shots of the same character. Not too bothered about colouring, because you can always change colours if you really needed to. But it is interesting to note that that old problem where small things, I think it's, like I say, my dataset doesn't have any like small thoras. They're all close-ups and action poses and stuff. It's also why the poses are kind of samey. It's because there were only like a certain number of poses. I'm kind of surprised how good it is. Full Dive Media, welcome. Hi, how are you doing today? I'm doing great. We're taking a look at the latest thing. It's ENH, and it simplifies things massively, guys. But yeah, I'm having a great day. My legs are killing me, man. I was lugging all my cameras up the hill. It was worth it though. Got some good shots. Maybe one day they'll arrive on the show. But yeah, we're just looking at some of the outputs since the last time we met. This is all since the last show. I started throwing in a rotation. I don't know. No, we're not there yet. In the next folder, I start using a rotation of prompts using the distributor technique. So I've got like 6 prompt lists that are being rotated through for each image, for each set of 4, I mean. And that's how come we're seeing her doing some hacking now, because that's one of them. So it gives you a bit more control over what it's making. You can look, you can almost make a graphic novel. I don't think you could quite do, I think like a manga or a cartoon type setup would be exhaustive, because you'd be fighting the random and trying to make it look consistent all the time. But it is getting close. It's getting close. Maybe combining it with training it on comic pages. You know, But that'd be a nightmare to tag. Perhaps if you could do like segmented captioning, so you could like describe each cell, train a LoRa that understands that. I don't know, there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way. But for now, so it should be rotating through a soldier outfit. Spy suit maybe? Don't know. Don't know. I'm trying to guess which prompt workflow they came from. That's sneaking. She's sneaking. Oh, we've done more. Oh, that was the rotation. Right, cool. So that's enough of that. Let's get into it. So, for the workflow itself, right, it's actually pretty simple. What we've just got is we've got 4 WAN 22Bs. We're going to be using my LoRa at 0.75. You could obviously turn that up if you wanted. It's up to you. I've just put them all to 0.75 as like a mid-ground. I'm using 0.4 on Fusion X. We're still using 2.1 Lightning. For image generation, I think it actually gives nicer images. The 2.2 Lightning gives images that are slightly truer to the dataset. So if your dataset was more abstract, you'll see your style coming back. But in this case, we're doing like a 90s anime tribute, and I think 100 images are Thora in various outfits and situations, and another 100 images were backgrounds. So really detailed anime backgrounds. Like, you know, sci-fi corridor. That's why these look so good, because it's like there was a lot of training. It's kind of like a regularization experiment, you could say, I guess. So there's some nodes here. The first node is the ENH JSON prompt extractor. Now this is arbitrary as hell, and it's only really useful for the type of prompts which I'm going to be showing you, because we've got a system prompt that outputs to a specific JSON structure. So I would recommend actually making up your own. Hey Dennis! Hey Johnson, having a blast today trying your 14B text-to-image workflow with my custom style LoRa. You're going to have a blast, Dennis. You're going to have an absolute blast, because this is what I've been finding. Unparalleled detail on the trained LoRa and brilliant prompt following. I've been a great time. Straight into 1536. Don't forget to get my DJZ nodes so you can use the aspect size V2. That'll push you in with nice settings. Yeah, 1536 by 1536. So that's an important note if you haven't been on the show for a while. These are all natively generating at 2048 by 1152. So that is bigger than 1080 by... bigger than 1920 by 1080. So they're full HD out the gate. Alright. And if you remember, I trained this model in SDXL. You can find it and you can see that these are just now extremely high quality versions of those outputs. So it's like having upscaling for free, and it's crisp. You know, I can zoom all the way in. It looks very nice. And you can tell it's the character, you know, it's the same character in every scene. Her eye color changes sometimes. Her outfits vary a lot, and as I said, my LoRa has a weakness. It doesn't have any small figures. But anyway, enough of that. You know what this is, just in case you didn't ever see it. It's 12 steps, CFG1, EULA, beta, nice and easy. The only thing I changed from the default workflow is I reduced the WAN video nag from 11 to 5. And we are only using shift 1. A lot of people say you can bump up the shift to get more creative outputs, and they might be right for video, but I must admit, in all of the testing we've been doing, I've left it at 1, just to try and eliminate that factor, because obviously we could be here all day if I was testing every you know what I mean, every sampler, that is something we could do, but for now, let's keep it moving. So I think you can understand I'm making 4 prompts, and then I'm assembling them with image concatenate by KJ, thank you Mr. Kijai, and then they all come together in this ginormous image, which is 4096 by 2304. Gives us a nice comparison of the 4-shot prompt enhancement technique. So let's take a look at what the prompt was. So this was the prompt. If you used my SDXL model, That's one of the captions. See, that's the old SDXL trigger. So, anime KZK woman with red hair sneaking inside of a sci-fi mega tower interior, standing in a room with a lot of equipment on the wall and a lot of wires hanging from the ceiling. So obviously when it couldn't really draw her, that's how come we got all these wires. See what I mean? It's very nice. I could literally show you in my training set this style of arch and all of this. I know it looks generic, but we targeted that, so that's why it'll keep showing up. Okay, so anyway, the prompt distributor. We'll cover this quick because it's actually really simple. I've got a node called Zenkai Image Prompt. You put your data set in there and it matches the images to the prompts. So then you don't just get a random image, you get a random image with a matching prompt. And because you spent so long captioning all of your images, they're already perfect, aren't they? So then what we do is we take two switches, two switch NEs being controlled by the same number. Okay, so image in the one, prompt in the one, and then we have our current image and current prompt, which we'll go up there and have a look what they do in a second. But it's all powered by this sequential number generator. You'll find it in DJZ notes. What it means is if I batch 7 images, okay, on the queue, it'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like some kind of twisted V7 engine, okay? So the firing goes off, boof, 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 boof. And after 7 are done, you've got 1 of each randomly. And obviously you could plan all kinds of crazy strategies with this sort of system, but I'm using shooting directly at camera. Now these are going to be the dataset images from SDXL or maybe even 2.1, so they'll be very low quality, but it doesn't matter because the image is going into the vision, not image to image. So it doesn't even matter if it's low quality. You can be as abstract as you like. Just put weird noise and shapes in there and see what it does. Okay, so let's see what else have we got. So let's go up here and have a look at what it's actually doing. So we have the Comfy UI Olama, and we're going to be using Quen 2.5 VL7 billion. It's going to be here's Zenkai ENH. So this is a new node as well. It's part of the Zenkai system. It's got its own repo. I was going to make it part of DJZ nodes, but I think we should keep it separate because there's probably going to be a lot going on in here. But the point is, I can now use a drop-down list to pick any of my system prompts which I want to use. So it's not just for enhancers, guys. Like I say, I call it Enhancer Natural Helper, but it's like it's any system prompt that you are switching between a lot. You can just call it up from the MD file. Put the MD file in the folder. It's all explained in the README. I think you understand what I'm saying, you know? So you put them in the right place and then you see the files and then you connect it to the system prompts and boom, there you go. You don't have to be copy pasting from notes or like all that jazz. And then obviously if you do like a cool mutation and you've made a custom system prompt, you can just save it as an MD, put it in here, you've got it forever. So that's the idea. I'm starting to distribute these with the LoRa now. So when I put out a LoRa, I put out the prompt list, but I'll also put out a couple of these. So this has been customized for use with the Thora, this LoRa. Do you know what I mean? It's like I call it a LoRa aware prompt enhancer. But I'm just putting it all under the tent of ENH, guys, because there's just too much going on in this field right now. Like I got one for temporal when we get to the video generation, where all it does is make the video movements better. It doesn't change anything else. See what I mean? So it's like enhancing from different angles and then just being able to pull them up when you need them. Anyway, this is V1 as well. Might make it even better with the V2. You know how it goes. But yeah, like I say, we'll take a look at the prompt, because it's important to understand what the hell it is. So what I've done here is I've put a new repo up, DJZ ENH system, and that contains Pitman for checking your pip if you need it. Install portable. If you run Comfy UI portable, you can just go command line, and once you've cloned it into Comfy custom nodes. In fact, you know what? Shh, I'm in automatic mode. There's no requirements, guys. It's empty. You don't even need to install it. Just clone it into custom nodes and you're good to go. ENH store is where you put the markdown system prompts. Now you've already seen my prompt enhancers. We did a whole show on it yesterday, So I'm going to move straight into this one. It starts off with this simple idea here, and then we modify it for the LoRa that we want to use. So let me show you the basic template first. So, is this big enough? Can you guys read that? Okay. So, multi-angle image prompt enhancement system. So you can think of this as multi-shot with we don't even have IP adapter yet, but when we get it, it'll be even better. So transform user input text plus optional image into 4 professionally visually rich descriptions for AI image generation using different camera perspectives. So it's random reframe, and you can control it by changing the words in this file. You know what I mean? So input, user text input. So we have a user prompt. I call it a smooth prompt or a simple prompt. Woman with a hat. You know what I mean? Optional reference image. So it's vision enabled, right? So you put an image of a woman in. It's going to look at the image and fill your prompt automatically with like the color of the dress, the type of the dress, all that good stuff. So we can be super smooth and then get like optimal prompt. But here we go. So that was what the last system did. Now, JSON with 4 enhanced prompts representing different shot types. Consistency rule. It's a bit of a weird, that should be a new line. Consistency rule, all 4 prompts must share identical subject details, style, lighting and scene elements. When image provided, do subject analysis, environment, style detection, lighting, technical. Okay, so it's going to look at all those aspects in the vision component of this. Now when enhancing the user input, because obviously you might have put, if you notice, I put a full prompt in, but it needed enhancing for this model, so it's perfect. But subject details, style and technique, lighting and mood, scene setting. And this is loosely following what WAN wants. It's in the right order anyway. 4 shot type. So these are the 4 shots it's going to make. Standard shot, close-up shot, wide shot, and action shot. Okay, just like I showed you it does. Process. So it's going to analyze the input. Establish consistency foundation. So that means like it should be doing, if she's got a red dress, she's got a red dress in all 4. You see what I mean? This is why I'm doing it all in one. Because you don't know what it's going to do after 4 random prompts. It's probably going to do something different, isn't it? So apply shot-specific framing, composition, maintain, and then we have a format. And this is as simple as it gets. There are like, you can do it in other ways. You don't have to do it like exactly like that. It's just JSON. But this is like the example. I think I have got some more down below, but you can see here, look, standard shot, single line paragraph, close-up shot, single line paragraph, wide shot. Just you see, it's really like formulaic. So you could come in here and say something else. You can just change that, and it'll do something else. So it's very customizable. But let's move on. Technical specs. Yeah, talking about more things it's got to include. So user input, cyberpunk hacker girl with a reference image showing a young woman with neon hair. Vision analysis says young Asian woman, short electric blue hair, dark clothing, neon lighting. And so these are the 4 prompts we get. Professional, cyberpunk, digital art, young Asian woman, glowing neural implants. Cyberpunk, portrait, close-up, glowing neural implants. Wide establishing shot, right? Young Asian woman, dynamic action shot. So it didn't really have to change it much. You see what I mean? And the idea, because the thing is, here's what you're playing against. Sometimes by changing one word, you get a completely different image. And that's where this falls over, because you are fighting the seed system. But we have it on locked seed. So we've done, and we have a pre-trained LoRa and everything. So we're doing everything we can to keep it on rails. So anyway. So this transforms any input into 4 coherent, professionally enhanced prompts that explore the subject from multiple cinematic perspectives while maintaining perfect visual consistency. Okay. But what I find is, especially when we get to the next one, we're approaching the limits of what Qwen 2.5 VL can efficiently do. Okay. So I wanted to provide this system so anyone can use it. You can use a 2 GB LLM for this on a little computer with no GPU. It's no problem. So if you're running Comfy to generate images, you can definitely run actually a slightly nicer little LLM on your system. So, but anyway, so, and I'll let you know as well, it runs the LLM first and then it starts doing the image stuff. So it's not swapping backwards and forwards a lot. So there's that as well. You don't have to worry about. Enhanced multi-angle. So this is the Thora version. Okay. So the difference is that what I've done is I've trained this to create, like, we give it the caption list for the LoRa that we trained. So that's like, you know, the high level what we did. And now obviously that means all 4 prompts must share identical thing. So character, LoRa, animate Thora woman with red hair, because that's the character. Style prefix always begin with anime. Environment, these are environments that the model has been trained with. You see what I mean? So it's going to, like, by default try. So what we've done is we've said, unless specified, you can fill in the blanks with stuff that you know. That's what we're doing. But then do that for all 4 in a batch. Yeah. So shooting at the camera, sneaking aside, holding gun, crouching down. We've been seeing a lot of that, right? Mandatory character replacement. So because I had a problem with when I was putting in the original captions, it would see X, Y, Z woman or whatever, and then it wouldn't change it, and then you'd get no trigger. So I had to kind of come in and do this twice. That's why this is V2. And it's got a whole bunch of, like, quite rigid. Make sure you actually put the trigger for the model in though, yeah? So then you don't need to be appending it. It'll do that for you. And you can set what the rules are, you know what I mean? It's up to you if you want to rewrite the game. I've just given you something that works. You can make it better and you can change purpose. It's just text at the end of the day. You could have an LLM do it, but make sure it's a good one, because I find that if you do this with... I think ChatGPT 5 must be something wrong with it, because when you do it with this, which I usually recommend, it kind of collapses in on itself a little bit, and you get a shorter thing back with hardly any of the considerations. So I would recommend Sonnet 4 for this. Even Gemini is good at this. But we are starting to see some Quen models which are starting to catch up, so it's getting interesting. What have I missed? Dragon says, Phi Tiny, little thing, works in the enhancer. It's like a gigabyte in size. Thanks, mate. That's a perfect example. Dennis says, if you would train a new LoRa that maximizes the usage for your system, how would you caption it so it works best? Okay, so there's a couple of things there. For training, it's always important. I would say if you're new to training, use Quen 2.5 VL to caption your images in a batch. I've got workflows in the folder pack under training or captioning. Okay, and so you'll need Quen 2.5 VL. You can use Olama. I'm thinking about actually bringing out a new version of that workflow, because Dragon's got this special save node, which apparently we could, like, save the image with the caption all in one, save a step there. And then the other one was I would say use prefix. The prefix strategy, which I go on about, I call it caption route. You'll find a whole bunch of different things out there, but the concept is that you always start with XYZ, for example, man. XYZ man, comma, and then whatever Quen thinks is in the image. For the version 0 train. That's why I always start with LoRa. In fact, we might even do one tonight. I just couldn't remember off the top of my head which dataset it was. Oh yeah, now I remember. I want to do a photorealistic investigation with WAN 2.2. We're getting to that. Later. But if you stick around, you'll be able to see us do that in about half an hour. I'm planning on doing that after coffee time. I have a cop, like a sci-fi cop. It's like good quality images. It's consistent character. I think the V0 train will, like I say, you have to do a trigger at the beginning, so it'll be whatever woman at the beginning. I think it's Venus Cop. I think I trained it as Venus Cop. Yeah, I think that's what I did last time. I trained it as Venus Cop. Probably better to do Venus Woman. We'll do Venus Woman this time, but it'll be in a cop outfit. You know what I mean? Every because it's the same outfit in every image. Anyway, without getting sidetracked, the first train, you want to just do it like that, and then you want to go through those captions and look for where it says bloody Wonder Woman and RoboCop. Take those out, retrain it. It will be better now. And then test every single... I put all the captions into a prompt list, and then I batch every single caption. And if there's a bad image, like it's generating a bad image for a specific caption, I go back to the dataset, delete that image and that caption. Because usually it's there's a problem with that specific image. There's something about it. Maybe there's a hand in front of the face which you can't figure out. I don't know, but that was also another way to optimize. And then obviously, you know, you might decide to add some words that are missing, which you feel are more important. So really, it's an iterative retraining process with curation of the captions, because we should be able to rely on a formula by now. Do you know what I mean? The training formula for this is really easy. It's times 10 to times 20. So if you have 10 images, no, don't even, no, it's a bad number. Start again. If you have 30 images, that means 300 to 600 steps. If you have less than 500 steps worth of images, I would always go with 20. Do you know what I mean? But if you've got like 1,000 images, don't be doing times 20. In fact, your images, there's too many. You want to do a checkpoint train. Not a LoRa, something else. Once you get into big data sets, you want to track checkpoint train, not LoRa. Anyway, that's my bit. So I would say the biggest, I've been training with 200 images. So I do 100 for the character and 100 for the backgrounds. That looks like really nice. Anyway, let's get back into this bit, because... So anyway, obviously it's going to try to make the prompts make it more like the LoRa. I think you can see that, you know, shooting, sneaking, holding gun. We kind of already looked at it. But the main crucial point is that, look at this, completely remove, is the output format. Okay. The output format is a JSON format. And what I've done is I've written a node that kind of like reads this. But it is a bit, it's got some stuff in there. I've got like 4 things in there to try and catch edge cases. I can't say I'll catch them all. It'll fall back to an unimpressed white cat. So if you get an unimpressed white cat, there's something wrong with the prompt output. Okay? That's our little joke, a little in joke. Does it even say anything about that? No, probably not. It's in there though. Right, so let me show you the node. So as you can see, it has generated the 4 prompts based on that input. Okay. And then obviously this guy goes, oh yes, and splits it. Because the thing is, like these 3 things, because it always embeds, you know, the code when it outputs JSON, it's like, this is JSON. You know, and obviously if you're reading JSON, JSON can't end with anything but a bracket. So the Python is like crying about it. So I told him to ignore a bunch of things like rogue commas and junk at the beginning and the end, so it can kind of have half a chance. But like I said, it seems to work okay here. So we've got anime, Thora, it's doing the thing. Right. It's doing the thing. And so like I said, it's success. So that means we have a modular way of doing our vision-based prompt enhancer with LoRa-aware caption programming. It's such a mouthful. This is why I just say ENH, which is Enhancement Natural Helper. It's just a bunch of system prompts, guys. But anyway, like I said, this is one of the first sort of more advanced ones that we've done. Okay, so I'm not going to do 7. We've already looked at those. But what I am going to do is I'm going to say we were pushing the boundaries of what you can do with Quen. So what happens when we use Sonnet 4? Because like I say, up until now we've been using Olama Generate. But you can use OpenRouter, which also has an image input, and it also has my system prompt. It's set up exactly the same. And I haven't even used it yet. I put my key in there, so it's safe. So, well, Can't give away any of the images though. No, I'll just cancel the API key at the end of the session. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to swap it over and we'll see what happens. So let's see. I think I just connect that into there. Yeah. And then disable this whole thing. Yeah. Wait. No. Not that bit. I need that bit. Alright. So we haven't even tried this yet. Let's see if it works. Prints out the API key as the first response. Yeah. Because I thought to myself, you know, we made the system prompt with Sonnet 4, and then we've been doing the prompt generation with Quen VL, because it's the most accessible local LLM, I thought, for vision. You know what I mean? It's like nice and small, it runs well, it's reliable, it can do all of this complex stuff, because it's quite a complex set of instructions, you know what I mean? So it's given us our 4 prompts. Ooh, metallic earrings, metallic earrings. So it does seem to emphasize different things, as it should, but it's not always including them. I mean, if you wanted to put the character in 4 different locations, this would be also a very easy thing to do. Because at the moment, I'm kind of testing how good it is at reframing the character. Obviously, the character Laura is a bunch of portraits. There's very few medium and far action examples at all, really. So, but if you were going to use this, like, for example, say I wanted to make a data set, and I've got a pre-trained, say I wanted to do Thora around the world, and I want to train all different backgrounds so she can go into all these different places. You know what I mean? Because maybe it's not so good at that. Right? Maybe I want to make all those different places like futuristic, like how the rest of the model is, you know? I think ideally you'd want to use image to image for this, but, you know, let's just play with the idea. For that, all of the outputs are going to be like that perfect portrait type distance, and they're going to be great. This model's strong at portraits and close-ups, but it's not strong at distance, which is annoying. I even got to the point where with one of the enhancers I was like, if she's like smaller than a quarter of the screen in the prompt or whatever, just don't even draw the character, just do a background, because I'm just gonna erase it anyway if it's gonna be like a little squiggle thing. Right. Let's have a look what we got. We should have at least one image by now. Okay. It's a good image. She's got the hoop the earrings. I bet they won't be the same earrings in the next shot though. That's the thing you can't... If I trained a type of earring on her, it would at least have something to steer towards, but I don't think I did. Is that a new one as well? I think it is. Shoulder pad's different. At least the colour is the same. We've got a close-up, so that's obviously the portrait prompt. That might be the wide shot or the establishing shot. So that's pretty good actually. Like, she's not tiny and badly drawn, so I'd take that as a win. Oh, am I missing stuff? Did I miss something? Yeah, I've missed a few comments. Let's have a look here. But yeah, I would use the prefix trigger with a thing. I'd say, like, just describe what's going on and use a priority like a caption root structure. Start off with the trigger, then what it is, and then let Vision take care of the details and refine them, as I say. Dragon said, "Hi Dream, for argument's sake, wants 500 word captions, Flux 50 or so." That's a lot of captions. See, the problem with the idea of needing more words is that, say you have 100% of the attention on one word, okay? So a one-word caption gets 100% of the attention. You do 2 words, now you split the attention. 3 words, split it again. So if you imagine you got a 100-word caption, each word is only really worth 1%. Now, it does understand contextual relationships, natural language programs, so it's not really as simple as that, but for the purpose of like trying to imagine what's going on, if you were to go to 500, that means that now each word is worth about 0.125 or something percent or something. I don't know, the math is probably wrong, but the point I'm trying to make is that like it's not necessarily a good thing to have longer captions, you know. Sometimes what it means is now that each word you're putting in is just got more chance of being ignored. Yeah. It's just math. Being precise is always better than waffling. But that's just because we did tests with this sort of stuff. However, when you're prompting, you can be as verbose as they allow you to be. So there's a bit of a difference. We're talking about training and captioning, not image prompting. Image prompting, you can be as long as you want, but the actual captioning process, I believe, should be 70 is a good number for training, I think. But hey, I'll be proven wrong tomorrow and be like, hey guys, I was wrong. So don't worry about it. But that's just where I feel it is at the moment. So let me see what we got then. That's a terrible gun. Her eyes kind of change colours, but her eyes are cosmic eyes. They don't have a specific colour, they change colour. So I don't really care about that. They do look good though, even in the small look, even in the small face, they still look okay. She's recognisable as the character. She's wearing the black outfit. Little detail changes are to be expected because it's not a consistent character anyway. All she really had was the face and the hair. It was all about like poses and scenes and things and just generally trying to get the quality up. And I think that when you're doing the close-ups, it's got access to a lot of really good data. So that's just crisp. I mean, you look at that and it's like, well, yeah, count the eyelashes. If you're seeing like pixelization, it's probably the YouTube compression. You can pretty much go all the way in. Obviously, it's only 1080p, but it is actually 1080p. I mean, look at the line art on this collar. There is no pixelization on these lines at all, even at this zoom in. It's something else, guys. It is something else. The quality of the line work is just stunning. It's like, it's what you would get in a poster, you know what I mean? If they made like a professional poster for a brand, you'd expect this level of quality or better. I suppose or better. You can, you know, but that is, I mean, damn dude, I don't even, anyway. But anybody can do it. Just get your old Flux LoRa, train it on WAN 2.1 as a LoRa. There's loads of trainers out there, and then run it on 2.2 in image. I suppose that's actually a point. I keep going on like this is like everybody does this, and that's not true. So what we actually did here, let's just cover what we actually did here, because I think I may have skimmed over that bit a little. So early on we started with 2.1, we were doing this, but this is a huge leap. So in quality and scale, because it can do 1536 by 1536. Like I say, you don't need to upscale, it's just already in 1080p. But we're using WAN 2.2 T2V A14B low noise, and I'm using the Q8, but people in my community have been using Q5KM and still getting good quality. Using the UMT5, you can use the GJUF if you want. It's the WAN 2.1 VAE, and if you look at any of these workflows, it's a text-to-image workflow, and we use a length of 1. So it's not even like you have to do any like special tricks. You just get a text-to-video workflow, and you use 1 frame, please. And because you're only making one frame, you can go ahead and pump up the resolution. We were even generating at 3072 by 3072 to, you know, see how far it can go, and you can actually get up to sort of nearly 4K. You can get between 2 and 3. It was able to do it, but you start seeing those stretching issues. You see what I mean? Because it's like extreme res for the model, so it starts to do weird stuff. You know, like any model would. We're using WAN video nag. As you can see, nag comes off of the negative prompt. This is just the default negative prompt it came with. And then obviously you go VAE decoder into a save image node, not a save video node. Yeah. So simple, right? I think, I hope. And then at the moment what we're doing is we're mucking about with prompt enhancement agents. So at the moment I've made a custom agent. We've made a whole bunch of custom nodes that load the correct, you know, whatever it is that you want, how to make them, where to put them, and then that gives you this output. So hopefully they're more consistent than usual. Like I said, with the pre-trained LoRa and everything else together, it's the best you can do. That gives you these, and then, you know, as the guy that trained the LoRa, and I've worked with different versions of this, I would say button up. She's got lapels, like she's somehow got a soldier's uniform on in black, which is an error. She's got the wrong combat armor, but as I say, the clothing isn't consistent. So everything that was supposed to be consistent is. It's the same character in the same Cyber Fortress style locations. So what would happen if I put something simple into this? Because at the moment, as I say, we're using a bunch of like well-crafted stuff. So what about if I said a woman on a battleship? So I'm going to disconnect my whole system here, look, because it was all going through that box and then into wherever it was going to go. So, oh wait, no it wasn't, it was coming from here. Change that, aren't we? Oh, I need a random image, don't I? Alright, well, we'll do it. Do we have an image of a woman? I don't think I've got an image of a woman. Oh, I know what to do. I've got it. We'll be funny about it. API flux. Save me. I need an image real quick. Come on. Context will do. Context. Oh my god, why can't I spell tonight? Context. Text. Jesus. I think I spelled every key wrong in the end there. So, a woman on a battleship. And we're going to be 16 to 9, 50 steps, blah blah blah. No input image. And we're going to go to a preview and straight into there. So we can see what it made basically, and then I'll plug it in there. And then for this one, I will say the same thing. A woman on a battleship. Do you know what? Let's just make this a bit more automated. So woman on a battleship makes the image goes in there. Hopefully it doesn't get confused. We'll see what happens. Yep. So it's gonna do a flux context API because I'm lazy. It's kind of funny. I'm gonna run out of credits doing this one day, and it'll be jokes will be on me. So we have a woman on a battleship. Remember, this is not image to image, so probably won't have much similarity with that. Why has she got a knife? It's a pretty cool battleship. I like the turret. Bloody hell. Bit weird though. Armored turret, something. Yeah. Anyway, so woman on a battleship, super smooth, right? So, anime Thora woman with red hair standing on a futuristic battleship deck, medium shot showing her confidential naval officer pose, wearing white military uniform. Oh, we're gonna get some creativity, maybe. Massive sci-fi warship, glowing blue energy cannons. Okay, it's crazy. And then the next one, red hair, portrait, battleship bridge, determined expression, windswept hair, white naval uniform again. Cool, cool, that's good. Hopefully it doesn't get screwed up by something, you know what I mean? Like she's got a headset in one of the images or something. That's what it usually is. But that's actually an infection from my data set, so it's like my fault. Wide establishing shot of colossal navy vessel cutting through. So where is she? She's commanding from... Oh, she's... You won't be able to see what... I think she's going to be tiny in this one. Red hair shooting naval cannons directly at camera. Okay, that's a new one. Normally she shoots guns at the camera, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good at dual-wielding pistols and stuff like that. So, God knows what that's going to end up looking like. It could be a meat sandwich. Oh, we got an image. So we have our character. She's on the deck. She's in the uniform. And like I said, this would have been actually really hard to do without having some like... have you ever got a Laura and you didn't know what the trigger was? Or you knew what the trigger was, but it turned out there was this one word that was also trained that they didn't tell you about? Or have you ever got a Laura where they gave you the captions and it's like thousands and thousands of stupidly long prompts that you're never going to read? Let's be honest. The best thing I could come up with as a solution for this, to give artists, you know, the ability to use a Laura to the fullest, was to have LLM do a report on the training tags. You see what I mean? So like, look at these tags and tell me what this Laura is good at, and then I'll write that report and share it on the model page. That was the idea. But even that requires you to actually read it, yeah? And I thought, well, hang on a minute. Maybe we can just distill the report or the examination into a prompt enhancer. So then you have LoRa-aware prompt enhancers. So then you don't need to give a trigger to the customer. You don't need to have users on your website, or if you yourself, you don't have to, you know, you can just go put this into LLM, and no matter what you type, it will make character in style. This is character in style. You see what I mean? That's what it makes, is the character in the style. And the idea was that it would be elastic, and we've shown that if I was to say, just put my trigger in front of your prompt, that's okay, but it doesn't really get the full strength of the Laura out. And then if you have to type things that are just my prompts and just change them a bit, that was also good, but then occasionally that doesn't work either. And so then I thought, well, hang on a minute, let the virtual big brain do it for you, and then you don't need this cognitive load. You can just load in a system prompt which does thing. And like I said, the 4-shot system is just a natural extension of that, because once you have that, now you can use any vision model. And then like I said, we were getting to the edge. Like Quen probably wouldn't have been able to do this as well, because it's just a lot to manage. But Sonnet 4 is laughing at this task. So now we are getting close up of, see, this would have been very difficult, because like I said, yeah, well, we read the prompts. Wow. So yeah, as usual, the only weakness with this is if you don't train small versions of your character in big scenes, because the resolution's so big, you'll end up with like poorly styled. They even have weird faces. It's actually lucky that it's looking away from us right now, because it isn't human. But like I said, apart from the sort of demons that live in the latent space, this wide shot thing is working, because look what we've got. We've got a wide shot of our battleship. Like I said, I would just scrub out the bad stuff and then put my character in over the top, because it's good enough that it will do. You'll be able to do that. Oh my god, she's fun. Are we starting a new video game? That looks fat. Can we start a new franchise? What is it? Girls with naval cannon pistols. I think this has already been done. Yeah, it's probably already been done, but that's actually awesome. What is it? Artillery babes or something. Anyway. So, anybody else got a suggestion? Let me check the comment. Let me check the chat right now because I haven't been. I need to catch up with the chat. Vernicar, oh Zeus, hello. Sorry I didn't say hello to you, guy. Vernicar, there will be bad image. That is granted. Yep. But to be fair, I'd say 75%. Do you know what I mean? It turns, and the thing is, if I changed the prompt so that it wasn't making these wide shots, it would be 100%. You know, but I really want to get a wide shot because I think it's so useful to have a scene. Even if the character is like tiny and unusable, it's easy to scrub them out because I could do RemBG on each of these and you could be doing like graphical novel layers. Like if you look at how they do it in Japan, they have like a character that will come onto the side of the screen with a speech bubble. Yeah. It's not something I'm thinking about doing at the moment. I'm just saying like there's ways around all of this stuff, and usually they did it for budget, not because they couldn't do it. It's because it costs so much. Let's have a look. Why is it skipped over everyone's comments? Tut tut tut. Dragon says, Dennis, come to the Discord. I can link you my LoRa dataset curation tool that checks images and captions. I've also got my Captioneer V2, which is up on my website, and you can download that and use it locally. It's very good. It doesn't do any AI stuff though. It's a manual tool for the LastPass. It's got search replace and a good preview and all that good stuff. Dennis says, is your nickname there Dragon? No, it's Broken Boyo. So Dragon and them are getting down. They're going to do a little collaboration by the looks of it. HiDream has 5 encoders. Are you kidding me? 5 encoders? Apparently the attention principle is correct for non-HiDream. 5 encoders? I hope they're small. Dragon Diffusion says, I'm Gonzo there. Ah, welcome, welcome. Dominic says, although token heavy, I've had great results from image generated being re-image described with express intent of finding what was missing from the initial prompt and then combining coherently. Hello, Dom. Yeah, this is kind of a little bit like that, but I'm kind of taking it to another level by doing enhancement of any complexity dynamically. So if you come in with a crazy prompt, it will respect you. But if you come in with, do you know what, let's see what happens when we ask for, in fact, no, wait, I don't want to waste it because we've literally got it set up so we can have fun with it. I don't want to do a cat with a red hat. It's too cliche. Let's see if anyone's given us a thing here. If you look carefully, there's a woman in that image behind the gun. I didn't notice. I was too busy looking the artillery. Cancol, keyword with the cannon, is the anime that girls are battleships. See, we anthropomorphize everything, guys. So, as for woman, ready? There you go. I'm not going to do it, but do you know what I mean? It wasn't far. There was one separation there. Okay, so how about a woman is wing surfing? I bet it doesn't know what wing surfing is on a biplane. In fact, no, let's be nice to it. A woman is standing. I'm just going to say standing because I bet it doesn't really, do you know what I mean? Standing on a biplane wing as it flies through the clouds. See, that's almost too much, but you know what I mean in terms of like smoothness. There's quite a lot of description there. Nobody gave me a prompt yet, unless I missed it. Anyway, I got plenty. Oh, look at this. Okay, I mean, it looked like that's her knee. Wait, it is. Oh, she's got a structural leg. You gave me a prompt, Cancol. What? Just the word Cancol? Yeah, I'm not typing that. It's weird. Isn't that just anime? I mean, I suppose you could do it. I mean, what? It's not going to hurt. I don't think it's going to know what that is, though, bud. Let me find out and see if it was trained on Cancoli. And then we'll all run away. Women swimming in huge vats. Dude, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Dear, oh dear. Yeah, wrong channel. Alright, what do we get? Woman on a biplane. Okay. I mean, do you know what I mean? Look, like I said, the smaller she is, the less she will be styled, but that, I know it's like, it sounds like a stretch, but this coat, the hair, that face is like almost gone though. There's like not enough, there's nothing you can see like actually when it's small. It's not very good at this. We're gonna have to try and add some new images where this looks good. Do you know what I mean? But it has done what I asked it to do. It put her on the biplane wing. So there's no one, looks like she's supposed to be piloting it as well, so. Daredevil maxing. 10 out of 10 for small woman. Yeah, for a small woman, it's not bad. Like I said, the face is bad. But remember, this is a video model, right? So if this was video, it'd look it would look banging. I was going to say badass and got like stuck halfway there. Not really sure which one I wanted to do. But that's probably because it's about this time of the evening that I do coffee time. And we need to make a new coffee time as well. The technology to create the better, we need to do a special edition, coffee time special edition, because the technology didn't exist when we did the first coffee time. So, but it does now. Oh no, one of them is pretty bad. The style is there, but she's like a pixie. Ah, coffee time. My favourite part of the show. Here's the thing, right? What do you think's going to happen when we throw image to image into the mix with this system? And we're back. Welcome everyone. Welcome, welcome. So what have we been doing? Look at that image. Isn't that great? So we've identified a weakness, which is extreme scale. It's probably actually the LoRa, so I don't want to blame the model. But yeah, so I reckon you can mitigate that. Oh! LOL! What? We got moderated by Black Forest. What for? Woman on a cancol. So I put that into the Flux API and it said nope. Alright, so how about we just say anthropomorphic anime girl, which is a battleship clothes, which is a battleship. There, it's the same thing. You asked, we'll do it. That's what it is, right? Just say what it is. Don't use the word. Yeah, that's not how you spell it. battleship. And we'll see what it can do without the word. It's only because, by the way, it's not... It's this. Let's see if that one also gets banned. Like, we're not even using the image. It's literally just for the vision. Flux context, everyone. Anyway. Meanwhile, in our universe... Okay. So she's a daredevil who's about to get her head chopped off. We've got a bit of ultra realism over here. We have this is probably the best one in terms of, like, you know, anime style woman doing the thing, wing walking. And then up here we have like SD 1.5's attempt. I don't even know what's happened here. I'm just kidding, guys. It's a pixie. Yeah, obviously the scale got messed up. I was trying to do, like I said, but for an establishing shot, look. Paint that out. Paint her in. Use that one upper torso. Just paint it in. I would. That's what I would do. Screw it. And the thing is, when we get to image, we'll probably be able to relight and stuff with low denoise, so I wouldn't even worry about it. It'll just make it work. It's quite funny, actually. But yeah, so let's see. We've got our image. We should have our prompts. We do. We have our prompts. Close-up of anthropomorphic Thora battleship. Red hair, waving hair. Massive gun turrets integrated into her outfit. Uh-oh. Well... WAN's not censored, so we need to be careful what it's making here. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. Okay, thumbnail looks safe. Alright, she's normal. It looks very similar to my woman on a battleship, doesn't it? Very similar, very similar. So let's get some safe thumbnails up here real quick. But yeah, like I said, this technique is super nice. So, let's go back to my standing setup here. I'm just waiting for the next one to appear. But yeah, the quality's good. I mean, she's not an anthropomorphic battleship, I'll grant you. But remember, this is trying to make my Thora Laura. So it's going to try and make the prompts look more like, you know, and it is my character's head. So it's about the same build. Like, she's never wore that outfit. It removed the Cancol. Well, I didn't use Cancol. The enhancement made this. Gun turrets integrated into her outfit. Isn't that basically what it is? Remember that, you know, we're assuming that it knows what the hell that is, and I'm loading my Thora Laura, which doesn't do that. We're just doing it for fun. But yeah, like I said, it's making Thora in the battleship scenery. Because it wants to make a good image that's aligned with the Laura. If you want a more general use, just use the one that's not been aligned with this Laura. Or make one that aligns with the one you want to use. That's the idea, it's Laura aware. But I do like showing what happens when you just put random stuff in it. But how about we do a woman is working at Burger King, that's always a good one. I didn't even spell battleship right. Will it, like, will that get banned for being a company name? I've never really come across this before. It's never blocked me like that before. It's a good image. It's a good one. Captain Thora. Like I said, like, and again, if I wanted to, like, make more images for a specific theme, this is 100%. Cancol character can have turret on their body. Yeah, I know, I appreciate that, but I'm not running that Laura right now. If it even exists. It was a suggestion from the chat. We tried it out. It doesn't know what the hell you're going on about. That's not my fault. Go and train your battleship Laura, I guess. Okay. The point is... it did say the battleships are protruding from her torso, and I was... it did what it could, guys. I actually think it made good images. You know, even if it's not what you wanted. Wouldn't it be... Oh, okay, now we're getting somewhere. Here you go. Is this more to your liking, guys? I appreciate she's not an actual battleship. You guys, sometimes you guys ask for the strangest things. Seriously. Is this better? Okay, cool. We'll say this one's a win then. We'll save that one. We'll chuck it in the Discord, and it'll be funny. I'm not even familiar with this one. I've heard of Girls und Panzer. Obviously, that's old hat now. Now you want the girls to be the tanks now, yeah? Alright. I'm learning. But yeah, so anyway, here we have our spread. And remember, I'm just generating a random image. What's that? The Thora mask, says Apolloni. Thora mask, Thora mask, Thora mask, Thora mask. Right. It's pretty good. So what are we going to do now? Here she is. Sarah's a Burger King. Now, I'm going to adapt this workflow. Somebody stop me. The Thora mask. Yep. Yeah. Just pulling guns out of nowhere. Yeah. It's that infinite inventory or whatever glitch. Oh, we got one. Kugra Burger. Welcome to Kugra Burger. It's not bad. It's not bad. She's working at Burger King. It looks like the character. I don't know why we've got headphones and glasses, but let's just say the enhancer's trying to make it epic. Because it's been told to make an epic composition with establishing wide shot. That's what it's been told to do for this one. So the fact that she's not tiny is pretty good. I can't remember what this one is. I forget which one's which. Hang on. Number 3 is next. So it's establishing. Wide establishing. Wait, what? So which one was the one I just looked at? Now I'm getting confused. That's number 1. Number 1 was a medium shot. Okay, so actually it's not the wide shot. Sorry. My bad. I get them mixed up because I switched the rows around. Anyway. There's your establishing shot. You see what I mean? How... I've said it a million times. I won't say it again. Oh, we got the actual logo. Like there's going to be people working in Burger King in the future. It'll be a robot or a vending machine. Do you think they'll just go 100% microwave? Do you know what I mean? Do you think they'll drop the flame grill because they'll be like, well, we got like Burger King vending machines that microwave it? What do you think? I do wonder about that. Because if you're going to automate it, it's probably cheaper just to microwave it from frozen, right? Like with like industrial microwaves that like nuke the food in seconds. Probably lock it in a box while it cools down and then give it to you. We got another one. Oh, we got another one. Right, so we're going to get the portrait. Working at Burger King portrait. Let's go. Close up. There you go. Oh no way! It used the hacking stuff. See, there are some images in the dataset which are like hacking. I think her face has somewhat changed a little bit though. It doesn't quite look like her. It's close enough, but I think that the shape of her face has changed in that image. It's funny though because the hacking this is from the hacking dataset. Or, you know, there's a part of the Laura that deals with that. I guess this is too. Ah, that's where it... So that's why you get the headphones and the... Yeah, because it's all part of the... She's a hacker. You know what I mean? There's certain things that get associated, like gamer. If you're a gamer, you're wearing a gamer headset, you know? And then she's a hacker, a cyberpunk hacker. So she's probably wearing holographic glasses, you know? So it'll do stuff like that. You have to... These are why you have to tune and trim. Be like, don't do this. Don't do that. It's kind of like a prompt factory. You just set the rules. Kunga. Oh, man. I want to get a Kunga burger. It's funny, actually. I'm going to Wendy's tomorrow, so if there's no show, you know what happened. I've never been to a Wendy's before. Well, I assume it looks a bit like this. Well, maybe not quite, maybe the staff have a different uniform. What's this? They all look good. SD 2.0 had the mask. Fernicar, but if you remove the hologlasses, how will you know she's a hacker? Exactly. Zeus says, you could make burn with microwave as long as you can focus the beam. Well, I did work at Burger King when I was 16 or 17. It was my first job, I guess you could say. And the microwaves were no joke. They weren't normal microwaves. They had power. Way more power. Alright, so this is all very cool and very nice and awesome. But I think we need to take this to the next level. So that means I'm not going to need this anymore. I'm going to go back to my previous setup, which was using the random inputs. So I'm just going to plug that back in and plug this back into the bottom one. There we go. Right, so now this is like not being used anymore. So don't worry about that. Yeah, what I'll do though is just put that there so we can actually see what it's doing. Should probably get a preview as well, just so we've got, a clue. This is what it's pulling out of there, so do that a bit better. Keep it in the same place. Right. So we start with that. So obviously, as I explained earlier, this is my prompt distributor. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we use 1, 2, 7 on increment, and then we can hook up the outputs to switch. We've got images and prompts. They're matched. So we have data sets, many data sets. They're all captioned. So it's going to pull one at random, but with the proper prompt. And these prompts are sometimes very smooth, like woman working at Burger King, okay? Which is because they're old for like SD1.5 or 2.1 or something. And so then we go into our enhancer. Now you can use Olama if you prefer with Qwen25VL, but we are going to be using Sonnet 4 with OpenRouter LLM node. I have my key. I have my enhancer prompt. The enhancer prompt is customized for the LoRa that we're generating with, and it makes a 4-shot JSON output. Whoa! Look at this with the clawed outputs being too clever, look. I'm surprised it even worked, guys. Wow, I'm surprised my node even worked. I thought it would break, because look at all that. So it looks like... Wait, did it even read it? Did we get a bunch of white cats? See, if you break it, you'll get an unimpressed white cat as the prompt. It's like a fallback to prevent it crashing, but it actually did work. So that means, because I've got some code in here which is like ignoring garbage before and after the JSON and rogues, commas, and just generally obvious things that might go wrong with this. Does he give a little report? Sometimes they give a cute little report at the end as well, which like breaks it, you know what I mean? I'm like, I told you to give me JSON, not give me a bloody, tell me how good you did a job, Woman working at Burger King, Thora woman working at Burger King. Yeah, so the first thing it did was change the woman to, put my trigger for my LoRa in. Second thing it did was go green. This is what it saw. Green digital matrix grid pattern. What? Hang on. Okay, we're not even going to talk about that. Something went wrong with the vision. Well, I've moved it now, so it's too late, but apparently it didn't get a good image from the vision. Alright, well, we're just going to move on. So let's run this one first so you can see what it's going to do. So when you have this distributed system, you have to batch it in 7s or whatever the number is. Yeah. So we're just making 1, so chances are it's going to be shooting directly at the camera, but we'll see. It does sometimes have like an internal index number. It should be reset every time you start a new queue, so in theory it should be 1 every time. So this is what it did. It took the original prompt, anime KZK woman, turned it into anime Thora woman. Okay, and then it created some prompts. Crouch, tactical pose. So remember, we have a stealth pose, a wide shot, a close-up, and an action pose. That's what it's pre-programmed to do in the system prompt, and we are loading the system prompts with like a, you know, like a file-based system. They're in a folder. You can just pick them, add yours there, and then it's easy to switch between them, or like you need to use it in future. I'll grant you though, there is some utility in just having it in there, because obviously if you just get the workflow and you don't have this file, it starts to get difficult to manage all the copy pasting. So I thought it's time for a system prompt loader system. Obviously I've made it for prompt management, but you can take this idea and do whatever you want with it. It's usually what happens. So, you know, the idea of outputting a JSON and then using those for prompting isn't new, but what this is doing is multi-shot. So each of those 4 prompts was generated at the same time with vision input and user input, and then the actual system prompt is like an expert at making Thora images, right? And look, this is already 1080p, so if I like zoom in to about that scale, that's, I'm actually zooming, I'm on a 2K monitor saying that, so we're already zoomed in. But I think 1080p looks like that on my, no, maybe it's there, I don't know, I'd have to, yeah, let's find out. Save image, open it, bring in the thing, and hit 1:1. 100%, please. There's that. No, 100. There. That was about right. So that is 1:1. You know what I mean? No zooming in, no zooming out. Obviously, 1:1, and then God knows what resolution you're watching on YouTube. So yeah, whatever. We do our best. But the thing about this, which is nice, is that without any need for upscaling, we can just zoom in, and you can see that the details hold up. You know, even when you're zooming in like 300, nearly 350%, now we start to see signs that maybe, oh, maybe this is AI. And I'm not trying to hide it, I'm just saying the quality is like really getting there. This is like one of my trained models, so this is the pose she should be in. I would say the weapon is better. The model's interpretation of weapons, it obviously has really good knowledge of what guns look like and stuff, so that's not me, you know what I mean? But the design of the clothing, the hair, the face, even the design of all the backgrounds, like I say, half the model is just empty corridors and stuff. And it is, like, all of the details and everything. Because the thing is, some of it, the mistakes are there that I trained. So it's actually super accurate. How are we doing? So there's our portrait version, the close-up version of this one. Oh, the wide shot. Like I say, the wide shot is always the same thing. The character has lost some specificity. It's becoming a more generic redhead You know what I mean? It's losing the uniform and all of this business. But as I said before, really what I'm getting here is a nice scene, like a nice background. So I'd actually scrub her out. She's not bad, actually. This is one of the better ones. I've just never seen her wearing this outfit. But anyway, certainly these airlock designs and all this paneling stuff, that's all in canon or whatever, you know. If you go and look at the SDXL and the Flux versions of this, you know, you'll see what I mean. See what I mean? Look at this gun. But the gun's like almost as detailed as she is. So we have Thora in the combat action pose. She's got one of her pistolas. Now I'll appreciate this is like a generic pistol type, but that's what she has. So I don't know. Sometimes it looks a little bit different, but that's because in previous models I couldn't really control it. You know what I mean? So I had to just pick the ones that looked best. You know? But like number of fingers, trigger, discipline, just the general scale. I mean, I would say this looks a little bit big, but then it's supposed to be like closer to the camera, so it's kind of trying to do a bit of a whoa, you know, like a, what is it? Not Pulp Fiction, right? Reservoir Dogs. The gun's like into the camera, you know. It's not quite as extreme, but it's trying to do that, isn't it? It's trying to do whoa, bit of an action shot. So that's what we're at. So, what comes next? Well, if I just save this and call it... I'll change it to... 4-shot sonnet. Obviously, I'm cancelling the API key tonight. But... up until now, we've just been using Olama. Olama's great, and some of the other options, brilliant, but the best local models don't often have vision, and not everybody can run the ones that do. So you're back to Quen VLM or API solution. So, you know, OpenRouter gives you access to 300 plus models now, and a lot of them have vision enabled. There's also like special options like cheapest, which might be nice for you as well. But it works exactly the same as the previous node. You plug in all the things in the same places. You just have a key now instead of you know, loading the model weight. Obviously it's lighter on the system because you don't have to have an LLM loaded. That gives you however many gigabytes you were giving your LLM. Does mean you have to pay for it, but you do get a higher quality output, at least with Sonnet 4. Now, maybe you've got a free Gemini key, so maybe this isn't like, you know, true, this isn't, maybe there's a Gemini node. I'll have to look into that for people that, I know a lot of people in the community are using Gemini on a free key, and that won't last forever, but I would take advantage of it for as many things as that works with. Because it won't, like I say, one day that won't be a thing. But yeah, so anyway, we're going to do image to image. So I think I'm going to keep the vision, but only in the prompt for now. I'm going to do 2 workflows separate for this one, okay? Because when we tested it, the outputs were so radically different. So what my plan is, this one is just going to be traditional image to image. And then the next one will be more of a hybrid, because the way that the image to vision works, you know, so it's got vision basically, but I don't know, we'll do that one first anyway. So here we go. We're going to go a VAED code. Also, the tiling stuff was a big winner. I actually think that it's a super viable option. Let's put that one there, just copy that. Oh yeah, I didn't say paste it yet, cheeky bugger. Go like that, there, and there. And Ah, we've done the wrong one because we're so smart. Someone else, I bet you were sitting there going, why is he putting a decode there? Good question. I wanted the encode node. Now, we're just going to use the standard one for now. So like I said, we already did this yesterday, so it's not going to be a waste of time. I'll put it down here just to keep it a bit more separate. Now the image input is always going to be coming from this guy, so I'm just going to make a quick reroute here and just hook them up. Oh wait, he won't let me do that, huh? Okay, no reroutes for me, I guess. Okay, at least it's letting us put them into these. We do love how Comfy can get familiar with its noodles. Alright, now we obviously don't need well, we don't need aspect size, don't we? I'm going to go with whatever it is at NAT first, okay? But we'll cross more bridges. Because sometimes you have to do a bit of a check just to make sure that you're not doing something silly with the input. You know, like putting a 6K image in. Why does it keep blowing up? I do think we should get decode tiled out, just ready to go. Because we did a lot of stuff with that yesterday and it was actually good times. Okay, so we'll go back to that. So what have we done? We've set it up now so that the image that's coming out of here is just going into a VAE encode. Super simple, you've done it a million times before, I'm sure. And we're going to set the denoise to 0.75. Which might actually be too strong. I find 0.5 is roughly the sweet spot for this, but they recommend in all of the books, it says 0.75 is the default image-to-image denoise, so that's what we're going to do. Because there's so many different factors at play here, like shift, LoRa's, low CFG because it's a distilled. Arthriver says, can you work LoRa training based on WAN 2.2? Yes, actually, thank you for reminding me, because we're half hour over time. I was supposed to start that like half an hour ago, so thank you for reminding me. Right, dataset time. While it's generating, I'm not gonna, you know what I mean, we can't stop, okay? So let's go over to my NAS real quick, and we'll grab one of my recent data sets that I have on the should be retrained. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll look at it and I'll give you some tips. And we'll retrain it. So let's see. I'm looking for Venus. Is that it? Venus OG, Venus Curation, Venus New Captions. Ah, yeah. So there's a whole bunch of crazy experiments in here, so be brave. And it's going to be COP. There we go, we have our model. We made it, guys, we made it. So I'm just going to take this. In fact, no, I got a better idea. Copy. So this is what you should do every time you do anything. We're going to make a new project folder somewhere. That's our first thing. WAN, and it's V3NU5. That's the trigger. Venus, but I spell any letters which can be done with numbers. So it's not really about breaking up vowels. It's just about spelling it so that it breaks it up. So the only thing it's got in there is new. You know, there is new. And I think what we'll do is we'll say Venus woman. So we're going to train the woman classifier. Something to be important about as well there is what classifier are you training? If you're just training a thing on its own, it's just a thing on its own, which is a lot harder to align than thing, woman. If it is a woman. So if it is a thing, use the thing immediately after your trigger. Now, typically you want to use a prefix. So the first thing that you say is trigger thing. Trigger, so XYZ woman. Venus toaster. Okay, if you're training a toaster today. You know what I mean? It depends. It's contextual, right? It's a pretty good image. Oh wow, look at that. We're getting some really good ones out of this one. I like it. So anyway, I don't think it's doing what I asked it to do there. I think maybe I need to turn that denoise down. Anyway, so open it up, paste it in, copy the URL, go to my Captioneer v2, you can find it on my website, and in the GitHub as well, it's on the GitHub as well. So this is like a Windows browser-based dataset modification tool. It's like super fast. It will be done in no time. So this would be a backup for if I screwed up when I'm doing this. It has a backup up. So, oh, where do you want to save the backup? Give me push edit. Good, we're in. So it's only got two buttons really. Select folder, search replace. Be careful with the arrow keys because it will change the picture quickly for you. All right. Tells you what the file name is here. Tells you what the size of it is. It's 345 by 600. So some of these are not high quality. Some of these are whatever they were when, you know, because back in the day, some of this would be, anyway. So this is a consistent, it's the same person, it's real. These are photos of real human wearing same clothes in same environment with same props. So it gives you the best possible setup for consistent character, right? I've used photo of Venus woman wearing a tactical outfit, video depicts. Now that's because we were making video at the time. So that's number one. There should be no references to the word video, okay? Because we are actually making images. Mind you, that's a whole other investigation, but let's just assume for now, whoops, let's just assume for now, so video, image, okay, we've already said photo, so there's no need to double that. We do search, and then we do replace. Okay, save changes, close that, save that, that's done. Now, is there anything else that I actually need to change? Let's give it a quick check. Also, you can check the images to see if they're stupid or if they contain something confusing. Like, maybe she changed her helmet for one image. Delete that. There's no delete button in here, but I would just remember the file name. I've made far more powerful versions of this since, but I wanted to show you, like, the version. Because I would take the source code as your base and then customize it with additional things like OpenAI API, ChatGPT, Vision, captioning stuff, or something. Up to you. I've got one that sends it straight to Replicate and trains it. But hey, you do you. I think I even released the code for that. You can look on GitHub. Okay, so she changed her gun halfway through. That's actually a good example. Okay. So it says a futuristic looking weapon because it's like a fake anti-material rifle. She's wearing the same helmet throughout, but normally she has submachine gun. Submachine gun, submachine gun, submachine gun, submachine gun. I would actually get rid of, I don't know. What does it say? Futuristic. See? There's your problem. So what we need to do is call it what it is. We can't use futuristic weapon for a freaking submachine gun and then come to the other end of the data set and be like, oh, futuristic weapon. So what we want to do is change this to anti-material rifle. Be brave. Anti-Moriel. What's that called? Something break. What's it called? Muzzle brake. A long barrel and muzzle brake with a mounted scope, not a camera. With a mounted camera. I got my, hey man, I got my DSLR back on there for the kill shots. Yeah, it's like, what? Setting appears to be an indoor space with a tiled ceiling and walls. Yeah, it is, but see, the only thing I worry about with this set is that it learns that we're in a set right now. You know what I mean? Like, you can see in some of the pictures that actually this is a studio, right? And if you're not careful, it will learn that. So sometimes it's a good idea to do scene replacement. So take this image into context or something and reimagine her in a corridor or a car park or an office room, or, you know, anything, a bar, anything, it doesn't matter. I would say it'd be better if it was related to what the character's all about. So if you've got like background artwork for whatever this character is supposed to be in, I'd use different scenes. That's the best way to do it. The danger here is that it ends up learning that this character, like how she always wears black boots and a black suit, she may also be always in front of this background with the dirty stained wall and ceilings. But yeah. Nice. Look at that water damage. Epic. So anyway, like I said, we are done here. This is finished. It's ready to go. So if we go back to where that actually was, we were live editing that data set where it was. That's why I did a duplicate and put it in here first. So we will go ahead and grab it, and we will go ahead and compress it, and we will call it, I always use the trigger name, so it'll be V3NU5-woman. So it is literally trigger classifier. So whatever you do, if you lose everything and you didn't get any prompt lists or anything, you should at least have a chance, because the file name will be that too. And this one is going to be V0 because it's the first one we've done and we may be changing it. Now, I do have the benefit of having already curated this model and trained it several times, but that might not be the case for you. You might not need a V1 for this one, because technically I've already been through this and checked them a couple, you know what I mean? There may be some errors though. Everyone is human at the end of the day. Well, unless you're a GPT, and then you're not. So what we'll do is we'll grab the zip file. Where's the zip file? There's the zip file. So I'll put that there for now. And then let me just grab my replicate. So let's just go replicate. There we go. We'll go Ostris WAN trainer. Now don't blink, because this is the bit you've been waiting for. Maybe. I don't know. Now there's an important thing. How big are the images? The images are 382 by 600, which means they're not big images, which means you probably shouldn't bother training at high res. Okay, don't worry about it. The model knows how to do high res, so you'll get like restored through the fact that it's on this model. So anyway, well, it'll make sense when you get there. So most of my models are 1024 by 1024 or higher, you know, the data sets I have. So this is quite small. So normally I'd be telling you train at 960. Okay, if you don't know what that means, there's a resolution option in the advanced inputs. So we're going to be doing 632 because the images that we're training are closer to 480p. You know what I mean? Let's have a quick refresher here. 400 by 600. Basically, it's a little bit under 640p, a little bit under 480p actually. But that's nice. Don't worry, it'll make sense. Okay, I'm fairly confident. We'll see if I'm wrong. There's a lot of hunches here. But the point is, normally I train at 960. So if you have a Flux dataset, train at 960. If you have a 2K dataset, so all your images are 2048 based, you can actually train at 1428, which is more resolution. You will get better images. But here's the thing. It's debatable whether you get, if it's worth it, because it's a lot of, it takes much longer to train at the higher resolution. Anyway, 960 is what I recommend for 1K images, or 1 megapixel, sorry, I should say 1 megapixel. But we're going to be doing 632 on account of this dataset being an SD 1.5 size. But remember, if you have even an SD 1.5 size model, you can come in here and train it at 480p. So just keep that in mind. Some of your oldest work might be viable for a retrain. So I kind of love this, you know, getting more out of old stuff. It's great. So you don't need gradient checkpointing. We're using batch 1. I do cache latents to disk. Now, we don't have enough images, but I just wanted to make sure that you knew it existed. Because if you do have 100 or 200 images that you're training, you'll need to use this. You don't need to change anything else. I did a bunch of Prodigy testing and stuff. The outputs look the same, guys. I'm just going to leave it on the default. I don't know if it's because it isn't actually using them, which is probably the case. But regardless, this is fine. So I just wanted to make you know, cache latents is down here, and this is fine. So, I mean, you know, with only like less than 30 images, you don't even need to open this. Okay? Don't even need to open it. So let's get to the main config. First of all, we're going to have to make ourselves a new model. So I'm going to call this one V3NU5 dash woman dash VO. Oh, just use lowercase. They have some funny rules about, you know, they have funny rules about capitalization and characterization, whatever. Just use lowercase. Okay. So then we've created our model on replicate. So that's where the lore is going to get saved. Okay. Oh yeah, thank you R3ver. Just pointing out, you can use Mutsubi, which is Koya SS, if you want to train on WAN 2.2. Obviously, I'm trying to show people, if you don't have a GPU, you know, you just need to bring images. This is like the easiest and quickest way. I think it costs me $5 every time, maybe less, depends how many images you come with. But $5 for a WAN lore is not bad. And we are talking specifically about image training. Okay, so obviously we've got to put our zip file in, yeah? So here's our zip file. Just drag that one in there. Hello? What just happened? Where'd it go? It went into it. Windows. So yeah, don't worry guys. If you have trouble with Windows, everyone has trouble with Windows. Don't feel bad. It's Windows' fault. So here we go. V3NU5. There it is. We do not need auto caption, but if you didn't bring captions, you see how easy this is. Like if you just came with 5 images that you just got off the internet, yeah, 5 images in a zip file, chuck them in here, choose a trigger word, auto caption on, and then you can even say a photo of trigger as your, and then it'll do the rest. So it's like, you know, if you just want to, oh, I wonder if I can train that. I use it for stuff like that. Can this even be trained? You know, so before I've even put any effort into it at all, you know. So, and anybody can do this. Just get some images, come up with a trigger, throw it in there, blah 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 blah. 5 minutes later, you're ready to go. So yeah. Now, this is the other important bit. I like to make it easy, so I want to give you one thing to remember, and that thing is image count times 20. Okay, so I'm trying to make this the super simplest ever. Yeah, so put your images in. I assume you captioned them. If you didn't, use the auto captioner. That's the data set dealt with, right? What are the training settings? Step count is image times 20. So 100 images, 2,000 steps. 50 images, 1,000 steps. You see where we're going with this? Wait, I just did the math completely wrong. I would say if you have more images, you could think about just doing times 10. Because really what we're doing is 10 epochs for 1 or 2 repeats. But just, I'm trying to simplify it, okay? Because what I found was I don't really need to do repeats with WAN training. So, you know, and again, everything I'm saying is about image training, not video training, because it is slightly different. Yeah. So how many do we have here? Should we find out? I think we've got 15 images. So this is a nice example. So 15 images times 20 is only 300 steps. That's not a lot. Right? So I would say more like 500 or 600 actually. But it probably will still work. Because like I said, it's just times 20. So 15, I mean, like I said, what I found was if you don't have enough images, it obviously doesn't work the same. So you need more steps. If you have more images, you need less steps. There is a little bit of it. It's not really linear. But I found that if you're training between 10 and 200 images, it works. So, you know, if you're just a hobbyist or you just want to like test something out, it's not a big, you know, because I think it's important that you should do multiple training runs on any project. It's very rarely one and done. If you do one and done, it's probably because you did 10 more before that, the same or slightly different. And so that's an experience thing. And the fact that you're just doing it again and again and again. So anyway, 15 images feels a little light. Because obviously 150 or 300 by my idea, yeah? I'm going to go with 500 and regret it. The other thing you can do, of course, is you can mess around with learning rate, but I do not advise this unless you know what you're doing, because it's way more powerful than you think. Alright, it's way more powerful than you think. As in, slight change, massive difference. So it's better to work on your captions and step count if you get a bad result. I haven't actually had a bad result yet, and I haven't even used checkpointing once. So Dragon just came in and said, just do low learning rate, keep every checkpoint 200 steps and do 3,000 steps. Interesting. Well, we're going to do 500. I feel like that's probably maybe even overtrained actually, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. And this is the bit where I look at the captions and in my horror realise that I trained the wrong classifier. Now it says Venus Woman. Thank God. I sat there going, oh, I could have sworn it was cop. But then cop doesn't sound like what I'd use because it's ambiguous. What the hell does a cop mean? Is that like an American thing? Here we go. That's interesting. Ah. Do you think it made my image better, guys? So we have a 1024 by 1024 image here. Let's open it. And pull it into its own little bit. Is that actually 1-to-1? Yes, that is 1-to-1. So we have that there. We'll come back to that. Now, which one looks most like... Maybe we turn the denoise down a bit, but probably this one, because there's a bit of shoulder in there. And look, this is actually 1024 by 1024. There's still work to be done here. But just to point out, you know, you don't have to do the super res thing, which I keep showing you, okay? This is 50% smaller. We're gonna do that. We're gonna start pushing the res. But I just wanted to show you, you know, the sort of comparison at 0.75. So where's that window? There it is. Put it over a bit more. Alt tab, please. There we go. Right. So then, should we talk about quality? Should we talk about training input and how my training input is bad? Should you know what I mean? Should we talk about how the hell did it even do anything with my training input? Now this is calculated, okay? I will point out that the eyes are terrible in this image because the eyes were trained as an entirely separate subset in the dataset. So like there are examples of the eyes that are like extreme close-ups of the eyes. So that's how that was achieved. You see what I mean? So when you compare the ground truth, as it were, you know, Obviously, the LoRa is doing the lessons learned from the entire 200 image dataset, not just that one image. But it's important to put them next to each other because it gives you a little bit of context. You see what I mean? Like, what am I training it on? That there is 0.5% of the neural network. The image on the left is 0.5% of the neural network in this LoRa patch. So it learned stuff. And you can see some influences there in like the hair, the shape of the parting. You know, there's lessons to be learned, right? For the LLM, I mean, or the neural network, right? And obviously that all gets put together with the base model, which is very good. And then you end up with this sort of emergent manifestation of the character or concept. That's LoRa, right? But this is still quite basic. We can do a lot better than this. But I just wanted to show you, you know, everyone always frets. They're all like, oh, I need to train on the best images ever. No, you don't. That's not what it learned. It didn't learn best image ever. It learned the hair goes here. It learned the eyebrow gets lit here. It learned her lips are cracked there. It'll learn like multiple lessons from each image you show it, and it'll put all of that together. I like to think of it more like how when you pour out sand in different colors, and even though it's like a pile of sand, from above you can see the pattern, you know? And it's like, where do I put these different grains? And they just keep on falling. And anyway, I don't want to stretch my metaphor too far. But yeah. And obviously, some of them are like not listening. Right. I forgot to say 0.75. 0.75, 0.75, 0.75. Are they all on 0.75 now? So that one wasn't on 0.75. Let's turn them all down. That one's not either. So let's turn them all down to 0.5. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Do you know what? Primitive. I need a primitive. And we're going to go into the denoise on all samplers and just control it from one. We used to do this to everything all the time. Been a while. Okay, so 0.5. All right. So we got our denoise set up. Let's run it again. And then let's have a look at this. Training complete. Download the weights. Done, guys. Like I said, it takes a few minutes. It's probably been done for a while. It was only 500 steps. And it was at, you know what I mean, low resolution, low step count. Takes no time. Probably used an H100 for this. All for the price of a cup of coffee. You know? So let's just have a look and see what we got. Looks like it's a 300 megabyte model. Okay. There it is. And we've even got the captions. And that is what we're going to be messing with in just a second. But you guessed it. It's coffee time again. We're still here because it is a Sunday. Sunday chill. Time for the history project again. Blows my mind. Do you know what? I reckon we're just going to derail in a minute and do some printing. We'll see. I want to check out this new LoRa before we do anything else. It's annoying. This is why nothing gets done, because it's like there's so many bits. Sometimes I think it's difficult. It's important not to rush off ahead when you get such a landmark release. It's so good. I don't think it's worth rushing off ahead. I haven't even got to video generation yet. We spent like you know it's good when you spend a week on text to image, and you trained I've trained like 5 LoRa's before I even got to image to image. You know, and then it works great, so I went back to text to image again. We looked at control nets and vase and things like that, but it's just not quite right. It's not quite ready. I'm sure that in time there will be 2.2 vase and control nets that are perfect and aren't just like, you know, because this is what happens every time. New model come out, people rush job stuff to get first. Often first isn't best. Sometimes first is best, but often first isn't best. Often first is first to fail. Unfortunately, it's like one of those horrible things about, you know how it is. You got ever stand up and make a speech? It's always rough on the first guy, but sometimes you got to be brave. So I respect that. So let's have a look at this thing then. First workflow I'm actually going to need. I'm going to take the URL from this. I was talking about this earlier. This is like a super essential part of the process. If you don't do this bit, you're stuffed. Hey, don't these all look... Oh, yeah, okay. So remember, I'm going to have to write a new enhancer, which is for... Remember, we're still using my text-to-image enhancer, right? So the enhancer doesn't know that we're doing this, which means that the variation is going to be like Midjourney, okay? See what I mean? The variations like Midjourney. Look, like, does her earring change? Like, you know what I mean? Like, little details will change. And this is at 50% as well. 0.5. Oh, God, I forgot to turn the thing on. Joke's on me. So don't worry, I didn't manage to show you too much. Alright. So it ends up looking like Midjourney is what I'm trying to say to you. You know what I mean? Because you get the 4 prompts from the LLM, but they were made all at once. But because you're doing image to image, the only real differences that you're going to see is like minor background details, or like, oh, her earring is like a slightly different shape. So you can see it on the computer screens. Okay, and the reason isn't like a trick. It's because it's image to image, right? If we take a look at the original image, you see? I'd say the characterization has a bit more emotion, but it's certainly not better quality. Like, it's definitely a huge quality bump. It's followed it well, though. So, again, you know, what would I do with the 4-shot, you know, now? Well, I'd have it be aware of it being image to image. You see what I mean? So, I haven't done that. I'm not going to change it. Not yet, anyway. I'll do that later. But yeah, so there it is. There she is, image to image. Right, so let me see. Do I have a non-modified version? Yeah, I do. So this one hasn't got the... this one here hasn't got the... I'm trying to think of the name of the word now. What's the name of the word? This doesn't have the image to image. This is text to image again. And we need to get the LoRa. And we need to get the captions. First things first. Let's get the captions. That's it. It's like real fast. Prompt list. Put the path to the captions. Put the name of the model. And go. And it's done. So what that did was it turned all of my prompts into a single caption list. Yeah. All right. So I think now output captions Venus woman, change the name. It's kind of irrelevant actually. It's just a data set. Yep. So Venus woman V0, and then obviously we're going to want to put that one into the DJZ nodes. So DJZ nodes, down to the prompts folder, paste that in there. And remember what I was saying to you earlier about the image prompts. So there's the image prompt system, and there's a data set. That's all it is. You just put image data sets in with the, you know, caption pairs, put them in the image prompts folder, and then my image prompts node can load them randomly. It's just a way to save yourself the trouble if you're constantly using the same inputs over and over again. I got like all kinds of these: video, control map. Right. So remember, this is what we're going to be using in a minute, the Venus woman. So that's done now. So should be able to go back, and then we're going to rename the Laura. So WAN V3NU5-woman-dot. Wham on. Woman V0. There it is. Okay, and I will cut that. And we'll take it to the models folder. Another random place we have to go all the time. Here we go. Hello. AAA. WAN. There we go. I've only got 78 WAN LoRa's. Do you think it's a good model? I'm not sure. We're going to have to put all these on Hugging Face soon. Some of them are just different epochs we were using in testing and things like that. So it's probably not like a full 78. But it is a lot. Okay. Most of them are already up on Civet, if you can even access that website still. That's image to image. Let's go back to this one. So this is the text to image. So how would I change this so that it can use my new LoRa, right? So first thing obviously you're going to want to do is press R, otherwise the LoRa is not even going to be in the list. And all the prompt list either. Now when I release my LoRa's, I do release the full prompt list with the LoRa, so you'll find it there. I'm going to be releasing a prompt enhancer with this one as well. The text to image one we can make now, so you can see how that's done too. It's actually pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Alright, so that's been done. So what we'll do is we'll take this one and say Venus. So this will be nice because this is the first time that I've done photorealism. All of the other stuff we've been training, I think, has been art. You know what I mean? There's been no attempt to do photorealistic humans. Although I have done this for work and I know it does work. I just haven't done it publicly. So I thought, hey, let's grab one of our smaller models, because Venus Cop was a subset of my old Venus Woman, which was a subset of my old Woman model. But that had like 700 or something images in it, so we split it out, you know what I mean, into different things. So we've got woman there, we got woman there, we got woman there, we got woman there. Alright, that's a whole lot of woman. Now because I don't have a thing, you know, I don't have a thing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on my basic, what's it called? T2i Vision 4-shot. Still do the 4-shot. It's just not going to know what the trigger is. So doing a pen for each and force it on here. One way to do it. Put the pen at each one. I'm just going to band-aid it because I haven't made the custom version yet. No. Text. It's string concatenates. So, okay, so we'll have one of them there, 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 and there. And we're going to do, let's see, 1, 2, yeah, so I'm going left, right, top, down. So put that one in the append. Explain what I'm doing. Just hooking up a node in between the text output so we can put our trigger on. Because I haven't made a custom enhancer that will already do that. This will work. So we're going to say 3, and by the way, capitalization doesn't matter. Even though, interestingly enough, they are different tokens. They're different tokens, but it doesn't matter. Oh yeah, we don't need to do the comma space because it's already done by the node. All right, so I can just copy clip space here, paste clip space, paste clip space, and paste clip space. Okay, one last thing to do, which is to put our new caption list that we made earlier. Did I delete it? I think I must have deleted it. Alright. Zenkai 5. Oh yeah, I didn't put WAN in front of it, did I? V3 N N U. There you go. Yes. Alright. So if we take that. Hang on a minute. There's my image prompts. Did I put Venus woman in here? I did. Haha, so that's even better then. Actually, okay. Slight change of plan. So I don't need the prompt list. If you see what I mean, I don't, do you know what? I don't need the prompt list. Because we're using Vision, aren't we, right? So I just realized what I can actually do is just have Venus cop here. I didn't need to rewrite everything. I've already got the data set in a node ready to go. Okay, but if you don't have that, obviously you're going to need a prompt. So I took it from the caption list. We've shown that, but then you still need an image for the vision. Now, obviously, if you don't have one, you can just unplug it. You know, you don't have to have a vision input, but this particular system prompt is looking for that, so we are going to maintain that. So yeah, going a little bit quick, all right, going a little bit quick, but I hope it was simple to understand. So yeah, we're going to use this one, and to make sure it only picks that one, I'm just going to say 1 1, which means it's always that one, no matter what. Okay. So that's going to go into the enhancer. The enhancer is generalized, so then we're adding the trigger. Right, it's good to go. And we're at 0.5 as well, which means it's not doing much. I might turn that back up again, but alright, so this is what we're dealing with, yeah? This is what we actually have. Let's make it as big as it actually is. There, that's it. That is what we actually have, full size. Yeah? So, you see what I mean? When you think about it, it's like the quality isn't really much to go with, you know, there's not really much there. I'm sure I've got like higher quality versions of this. I'm not quite sure why they're all so small. I'm sure that I had like 4K versions of these images. Maybe they got resized for training at some point. I don't know. It's just a weird size. 400 by 600. What? Professional cyberpunk digital art. Venus woman with short, tousled, dark brown hair in tactical black outfit. Medium shot showing her confident stance wearing black turtleneck, cargo pants with utility pouches and chunky platform boots. Holding futuristic angular weapon in right hand. Left hand on hip. Moody studio lighting. Ooh, okay, I'm sure we can break free of the background, but still. Whoa. Sleek modern aesthetic with high contrast lighting and sharp photographic details. That would be prompt 1. So here we go. Portrait close up, wide establishing shot, and a dynamic action shot. Wielding the weapon, the futuristic weapon. Are we cooking anything yet? No, we're still getting ready. So remember, we're only doing 0.5 denoise right now, but we are using a LoRa that was trained on this and other images of the same person. So, okay. And obviously, guys, if you want to do like batch image to image, you know, you can make a pre-prepared set of images with prompts, and you know, you can pre-prepare and then batch your life's content, because you know, we can use the LLM to pre-prepare the preparation. So then it's like you have a batch thing that's setting up a batch thing so that you can make a dynamic batch with randomization. It just runs until you turn it off. It never ends. You know, up until now there is an end of the queue, but with this sort of dynamic thing, Tenus, excuse me, Tenus, 2048 by 1152. So we've gone all the way up. I mean, considering what we trained it on, it's actually retained the fact that it's a toy. It's kind of funny. Tenus. So which one did it make first? It made that one first. I don't see a turtleneck. Oh wait, no, it is a turtleneck. The boots could be better. Mind you, we did... Okay, I got a thought here. All my other stuff was trained high res. This was trained low res. So I'm going to give them a break and drop back down to SDXL size. Just to see if it makes a difference. Because to be honest, I'm surprised it didn't learn the blur. Look, that's what we trained it on. So if the eyes are bad and things like that, it's because it didn't have any examples. Like, this is what her eyes look like. So you have to give it a break sometimes. Okay, we get the helmet. Now the helmet looks good. Oh, it's turned into a rifle. Boots seem a little bit better, but not quite right. You see what I mean? Like it's correct on one side and not on the other. So I reckon actually, if I want to train this, I need to get much better images. It still looks good. I'm just saying it's not. I know it can do better than this. Looking at things like hands, face, the eyes look like ESR GAN. And it is blurry. It is blurry. A little bit. It is blurry. I mean, hey, it is the character. Tenus. Better. See, I wouldn't even care if the face is like all over the place as well, because technically, you look at the, like I say, look at the data set, and what? We didn't really give it a face to train. Does look good though. If you zoom in on it, look at the face, look at the pores on that. Look at the pores on the skin. You can even see like those small hairs that you only see in certain light. The teeth aren't bad through the lips. That's usually a massive giveaway. They have like AI buck teeth. These eyes look great. So that would be, so that means close up. It's good at close up. Probably model heavy. There are no close ups in this data set. It's a photo shoot. So that would be WAN. That's WAN, not me. You see what I mean? You know, WAN takes, the base model takes the credit for making a good image there. Because there was nothing that could be used. Oh, do you know what? It actually kept the caption, guys. Huh. Alright, well, in the interests of science, I'm going to take that out then, because it's actually passing it through. Okay. Right, we're going to drop the res. Wow. Look at that action pose. The outfit is correct. It's got the seams, look. It's got the same design on the seams. Still, the boots are weird. We've got eyelets on one side, but nothing on the other. I swear it had buckles on both sides. It's like a rocker type set of boots. So you can't even... Ah, see, from behind. You can't see them. Maybe the vision was like, oh, there's buckles on one side and laces on the other, so... Could be the vision. Do another one. So we're dropping the resolution down to SDXL just to see if, because remember, we trained this on a 480p dataset, which means that trying to run 2K is probably a stretch, right? It's like, yeah. Akira from Virtua Fighter does that pose when he hits you with the shoulder. Oh, like a shoulder bash. Buff. Oh yeah, they do that. They turn around and go bang, and then the other player gets knocked back. I think I've seen that in other games. Isn't her petite on some pictures? Petite. It kind of looks... Do you know what? I'm just noticing now that the face is actually consistent. It's trying, anyway. It just struggles. But that there and that there looks similar enough. You know what I mean? It's not a different... It's not a wildly different person. It's just you've got straight hair, frazzly hair. It's hard to get the hair more dynamic. I think you just need more examples. You know? Look, see, that actually, do you know what? That's crazy. Remember the first image I showed you? And it was like a super low quality face with this haircut. And I'm like, damn, I can't believe it. It's doing it. It's doing it. Ah, Tinus is gone. We've got a new one. You see how it has actually learned the swell. Maybe it's in the prompt, okay? But it looks like it may have learned the studio. And remember, we're just using a general use multi-shot text-to-image enhancer here. So it's not been trained for this model or anything like that. Oh. Action pose, maybe. Is that an action pose? Oh, I don't know. I think it is. I'm not sure. It's one of them. It's trying to do the outfit. It's trying its best. I wonder if I could actually... It was a tiny Laura with only 500 steps on it. Yeah, and it looks better up there. So I think I need 1.0 LoRa, 1.0 LoRa, 1.0 LoRa. Oh, I'd already changed things, so hang on. Ah, crap. Right, 1.0, 1.0, 1.0, 1.0. I'm just making sure I've been changing numbers everywhere. 1.0, 1.0. Okay, it's fine. Alright. So we're doing SDXL sizes for this one, just to see what the effect is. If you ask me, it looks worse. The effect is it looks worse, as far as I can see. It looks worse. It's not bad, but that's actually pretty good. I won't lie. I won't lie. I don't know what's going on up here. Maybe this is like a thing. Is this like a thing for helicopter pilots? Maybe like a frosted lens on one eye. Never seen that before. I'm putting it back. Take me back. Take me back. Oh. Oh, wait a minute. Only one of them was changed. I forgot to change them all. So actually, let's do it properly. There. Get confused because I went forward to image and stuff and was doing all denoising and things, and then we came back here for text to image with a new LoRa that had just finished training, so a bit confusing. She went tactical. Yes. Oh. Wow. Wow. What is that? That is some kind of firing position. Damn. The boots. The boots are doing all the heavy lifting for this one. My goodness. But again, it's not looking that great. The fingers are good. I expect better skin and stuff. But then again, what can I really expect? Right, now I need to give it something. No. See, I keep on going in different directions, and all those directions take half hour. Every single direction. By the time you've set it all up, hooked it all up, and you're running it. See, the way I look at it is like this, and this is something you need to keep in mind. You will often spend a lot of time building a workflow out for a task, and then you'll change it, and it's impossible to track all the different fork changes you make to workflows. But the best thing about Comfy UI, unless you screwed up saving the image, is you can use any image you make in Comfy UI as a checkpoint to roll back to go in a different direction. So often I'll spend endless amounts of time optimizing and trying to get the task as good as it can be, save that image, and then I'll move on to the next task. Because I know that I can just drop that image in, hit 100 or 1,000 or whatever it is I need, and just have them. And it'll just make me infinite variations of that concept and whatever it is. And then I can just pick out the best ones the next day. So I do that every day. I'll always have some big batch queue doing something. At least one. Because you can be creating while you're sleeping. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's how the industrial guys got so, wealthy in the 1860s, because they were, using machines to have a workforce of thousands when they only had 100 people in the mill. Now it's going to be, one guy with AI doing the work of a small company, a small corporation, And the thing is that you'll be competing with the old model for the next 10 years. You'll be competing with the old model, like old company model. And then in 10 years, all of the new companies that are successful with some, you know, exceptions that prove the rule, will have all integrated AI, and, you know, so that it'll go from you need to be using AI to compete to you need to be using AI to exist. And then we'll stop calling it AI as well. Do you know what I mean? They'll just stop calling it AI. Because think about this. When I grew up, computers are coming to the workforce. And there was all these people going on about computers are going to take all the jobs. Oh, it's the same thing. All the people that used to write everything down, they're like, oh, what are we going to do? Guess what? People still write stuff down. But nobody says, I made it with a computer. They just go, I made this. Look at this. Look what I did. Because I think it's about action. Yeah? It's about action. You did it. You typed in the thing and made it happen. So what if the AI was the tool? You know, if I take a pair of scissors and I cut a piece of paper, the scissors didn't cut the piece of paper. I cut the piece of paper. Why? Because it's my action. So I'm responsible for my actions, right? So if I use a tool to do a thing, the tool wouldn't have done anything without me. It just would have sat there. So ultimately, it's me. I did it. So if someone wants to be like, no, you didn't do it, the AI did it. That's as dumb as saying, you didn't film that video. The camcorder did. Do you see how stupid it sounds when you put it into perspective? You know, that's like saying you didn't walk anywhere. Your shoes did. Like your shoes take the credit because technically you walked with the it's ridiculous. And all of that's going to go. It's going to be gone. I reckon 5 to 10 years, and people won't even tell you. They won't even, because you'll assume it. You'll know. Everyone will know that it's all AI anyway, so they won't even bother telling you. Like, the only real motivation for telling you which AI is so that you go and buy a subscription. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, why? You know, if I wrote a book with a Parker pen, why would I tell you that I wrote it with a Parker pen and not a biro? What difference does it make? You see? And I think that, yeah, just something to bear in mind. An AI pen. An AI pen that charges you per word. Like, you know, like the little trackball has like a mileage counter and they charge you for every mile. But it wouldn't be that, every millimeter, because it's like tokens. Every millimeter, it charges you token cost. API, the API pen. Not the EpiPen for all you diabetics and allergics. The API pen. Thing is, you could argue that exists because, you know, if you get a really expensive lead pencil, the refills are really expensive. Should we do that for fun? Let's do that for our fun last thing that we do tonight, because it's getting late. Let me see. Okay, the most expensive. I nearly bought one once because they're just sexy pieces of engineering. The most expensive mechanical pencil from Japan has lead refills. We can calculate the cost per letter inscribed and contrast with GPT. Contrast with Sonnet for token output token costs. No, in fact, yeah. Calculate. Zeus194 says, in the end, once the tool's common, no one cares about it. Exactly. Fernicar said, sorry, I mean, if you could go to jail because of the AI output, then it's ridiculous to hear you didn't do that. AI, yeah, exactly. There you go, Fernicar. You just nailed it in reverse. That's what I call reverse proof. So basically, you can't use AI did it as a legal defense. Therefore, you did it. So if anyone ever tries to say, oh, you didn't do that, the AI did, that's cope. That's cope. And also, you can't pull someone out from that position because it comes from a foundation of Terminator and you know, AI singularity Jesus, you know what I mean? And I just think, come on, man. I use these tools for practical reasons. I solve problems for clients. It's a real thing. It is super intelligence in your pocket. And I think that because of all the hype and the investing scams and all this stuff, it's hard to cut through the noise. And you just need to think about it as this is like the new Word and Excel. This is the new Photoshop and Premiere. It's just not quite ready for mass market yet. Yeah, they've got ChatGPT and they've got these chatbots, but that ain't it. You know, that just isn't it. It's so much bigger than that. What's thus, Fernicar? Rejoice in front of the prime intellect. Indeed, the prime intellect. Yeah, there you go. It's almost like a cult. It's like you have the cult of Cthulhu, you know, and then you have like the cult of super intelligence. But this is do you know what the weird thing about the cult of super intelligence is? They're never happy with the level of intelligence they've achieved. So they're like a forever cult. They're like an infinity cult because they'll always want it to be more intelligent. You know what I mean? They'll never be satisfied that it is super intelligent. They're like, oh, we're going to get the singularity. Because I think that what they think the singularity isn't that. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like everything will come together and we'll be living in Star Trek or something. It's not like there's just going to be like a god computer that's going to solve all of our problems. I think we're going to get like 95% of the way there, and then they'll be like, oh, actually, we need like more energy than exists in the universe to solve this problem. Like, what was it? Douglas Adams made a lampoon of it in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Arthur C. Clarke explored it. Isaac Asimov explored it. You know, many of the great writers and physicists and whatever, they've all thought and talked about it. And it's kind of like it gets to the point where the computation's so high, you know. Maybe in someone else's lifetime. Do you know what I mean? You can never say never, right? I'm like an optimist, but I think you have to have some kind of grounded expectation. You know what I mean? Like, think about it like this, okay? This is what I mean. Like, I want there to be robots and high technology. I think it's cool. But here's the thing. It took them 20 years to get self-checkout to work, you know? And people are still stealing. So I don't think their luxury dreams of automation are going to... Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's going to pan out how they think it's going to pan out, you know? Because it's like idealism versus realism. That's what it actually is. It's a spiritual battle between ideals and reality. And so we have to kind of like curve towards the future. So how much? The most expensive mechanical pencil I can find from Japan is the Platinum Pen Hayakawa Twist Feed Pencil. And that is, 15,000 yen, which is $100. But luxury mechanical pencils, like the Graf von Faber-Castell Perfect Pencil, is $12,800. But they have an accessible version. So they want to get you addicted to the premium pencil with the $300 entry grade, right? But really they want to get you for the family heirloom. Dude, 12 grand on a pencil? And I bet when he dies, they throw it in the trash. Like, they don't even know it's worth... Do you know what I mean? Think about it. A pencil. Can you imagine that? Like, you go around to, like, your sad times. A relative has died. They go round to clean out his old house. Who would have thought the pencil was $12,000? You see what I'm trying to say? You wouldn't even think it, would you? $12,000. Don't you know that that's a extremely niche premium pencil? A pencil. Right. Now, look, he could be an architect. Maybe he makes $1 million from his drawings. And then maybe you could justify the $12,000 pencil, right? So I'm not going to This isn't just ridiculous. You know, if you just made a load of money with a pencil, you'd probably buy a fancy pencil too, because it's like status and achievement. It's not really, yeah, probably never use it. It's just in the box, like a luxury watch, you know. So what's the comparison then? So for the $300 version, what about for the expensive version? Don't tell me there's still there's no way a 12 grand pen uses $2 refills. There's just no way. That's leaving money on the table, that is. So hang on a minute. Hang on. What about the expensive pencil lead refills? Hang on a minute, because I'm trying to think. You know, the most expensive pencil in the world costs this much per letter, and then the best AI in the world costs this much. You know, you can almost do a direct comparison there. Almost. And we can talk about, okay, I'm having a bit of a haha tongue-in-cheek calling Sonnet 4 a $12,000 pencil, but that's you know, you can read into it too much. So wait, does it not know? Can we not get up? There is no price. You have to mortgage your house if you want refills. There is actually ISO and DIN-sized pencil refill. Yeah, but what about for the Graf von Faber-Castell? Do I have to Google this? You need to go to Penn Island and pick up your refills. I guarantee. Pen heaven. You're absolutely right. I made a huge oversight by using standard pencil lead. Yeah, that's right. Luxury pencil leads are 30 times more. How much is that? What, $60 for pencil lead? Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. See, I was expecting it to be like $250 for pencil lead. Come on, man. Is he just guessing right here? He's just guessing. Right. We need to find out. I need actual information. Okay, let's try this one. We're talking about those. Refill. Refills. Oh, Christ. Refills. It's like I can't even type one word. Right, here we go. Oh, they're actually, whoa! Oh, wow, guys, look at this pencil. Perfect Pencil Project Stella. £685 for the pencil. Don't get suckered in, guys. This marketing is like extremely psychological. So they're going to make you want one. Look at the curves. Yeah, to be honest, guys, I buy Bic ballpoint pens, the multi ones. They're awesome. I don't care. You know, they're actually the best. There's four. See, my pencil, I've got a mechanical pencil with a red, a blue, and a green ink on it. Sometimes you can find them in purple. Way better than this. It's just like... Can you write underwater, though? My biro can. It's like getting facetious, you know. Yeah, high-end ballpoint pen, €4. Look, they're only going to make... Look, they've even got artificial scarcity built in. Only 1,000 Project Stella. It looks like a spaceship or something. Wait. What? Why has it got a pencil sharpener? I'm confused. No. No, you can't be serious. This is just a normal pencil that you sharpen down. This isn't even mechanical. Holy shit, these guys are the masters of marketing. $700 for a wooden pencil, guys. That's what we're looking at. This is wow. Well, they say you can sell snow to Eskimos. This is insane. Look. I don't know enough about this. Maybe there's a reason you can justify it. Maybe it's a cool retirement gift for your artist friend. I don't know. But maybe it is a really good pencil. But damn, dude, would you ever use it? 700. And, dude, every time you sharpen it, you're just... Hang on a minute. How many... Okay, so let's just work this out, right? Half the pencil is 300 euros, right? Half, it's worth half, okay? So 300 euros, 150. So you could say that, like, a tiny piece of this bit is worth, like, 50 euros. Like, 50 euros for just a little, like, every time. So, like, every time you sharpen it, it's 10 euros. Every time you sharpen it, it's just 10 euros gone. But hey, do you know what's really cool though? At the end of it, you've got a 700 euro pencil sharpener. You know, when you run out, when the wood's all gone. I've never seen anything like this before. Look, I don't want to... I'm just making jokes, okay? I'm just making jokes. This company obviously does very well. Look, it is. It's just a pencil. Okay, you can... Guys, don't worry. You can get refills for 20 bucks. That's pretty cheap, okay? That's pretty cheap. 20 bucks for the refills. The pencil works in space. Indeed it does. I think that was the Russian solution to the NASA pen that works in space. So, now I see. This is actually a really clever gift, isn't it? Think about it. It's a really clever gift because it's the whole... It stands for over-engineering is not human ingenuity. Do you know what I'm saying? This was the lesson. So, like, NASA spelt billions. So that's what the narrative with this pencil. You wouldn't use it because it's a conversation starter. This is like the ultimate expression of that. So I get it. I get it now. And to be fair, it's kind of like a bit of a joke as well, isn't it? Because these guys make the most expensive mechanical pens. What's pen of the year? Let's see what is pen of the year. Samurai. Wait. 2019. They haven't done a new pen of the year since... Oh dear. It's hard times. Propelling pencils. There you go. 415 euros. But enough of that. What was the result of the thing? I want to know, is it more expensive to write? Or is it more expensive to use Sonnet 4? And it turns out Sonnet 4's cheaper, guys. The results are in. If you have an expensive pencil, it's actually more expensive than just writing with an expensive pencil. I mean, I bet you probably wouldn't, though. But yeah, we're actually using the price of the lead, not the price of the pen for the comparison. And it's just a joke, guys. It's just a joke. It's not, you know, we didn't really do proper research. We've just been, like, silly about it, yeah? So, if Graf von Faber-Castell LEDs cost $5, which wouldn't be unreasonable, you'd pay $50 to write a novel by hand versus $2.14 with Claude. Should we ask him about what if I use a Uniball? What if I use a... Yeah, hang on. What if I decided to compare with a Papermate or Bic ballpoint pen? This is such a silly conversation. I love it. Do we get the images back? I should probably check on them before we go on. Yeah, they look all right. And we are getting the poses. We're getting the character. It even learned it's a toy gun. The shoes are good. The character's actually more detailed than the dataset I have. I still think there's still some work you could do to make this better, but it's the dataset. See, it's learned blurry face. Yeah. So now I need to get my 4K character dataset. That'll be what's coming up next. So again, this is kind of why I take my time, guys. Like, when every attack is also a hidden defense and a hidden counter attack, do you just move on as soon as you learn to punch? No. So I think spend a bit more time with text to image, get to grips with it, learn what its limitations are, learn what it's good at. Because the way I see it is, if I spend a week on text to image and image to image, that just gives video time to figure their stuff out. Because I don't know if you've noticed, there's probably like 40 different versions of WAN 2.2 already, of various different concoctions. So I might just wait for the chips to land on this one, because it's like 30 gigabytes a pop. Same thing happened with COG video. I'm just talking about control nets and vases, and you know, now there's a fast WAN, you know what I mean? So I would say don't panic. Patience is our greatest weapon. All right. Let me just see here. How does it stack up? Claude is 4.3 times more expensive than a Bic pen. So if costs really worry you guys, get writing. It's awesome. But it's actually not far off. It's only 4 times. Really? Only 4 times more expensive than Bic pens? I'm kind of surprised by that, actually. I thought it would be more. Dragon Diffusion is coming in. Rapid WAN is the one. See, this is what I'm saying, see? So there was no point downloading all 8 different versions, because Rapid WAN is going to come, apparently. Well, I don't even know. It's just an example, right? Dragon is saying, I'm getting videos in less than 2 minutes. Nice. I'll check out the links when I'll check out the links after the show. Because like I said, I think it's worth waiting. Because, as I say, patience is our greatest weapon. So, there you go, guys. Thank you very much for watching tonight. We will be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. Same time, same place. Hope to see you there. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And I'll see you next time.
But